Hello and welcome to my patch notes rundown for the 30th of October. This week's update introduces some readjustments to the Necromancy nerf, a surprisingly massive boost to golden bamboos, and well, what do we have here? Another batch of clue scroll updates. Who would have guessed? Without further ado, let's get right into it. NPCs involved in easy clues will now hand out the next clue scroll or the casket faster. Players will no longer experience a delay when answering challenge scrolls. These changes aren't much of a buff as they only speed up easies, mediums and hards by around 1 to 2%, but more notably it makes the rhythm of solving clues more fluid and enjoyable. The flow of solving clues is a big part as to why they're so much fun, and smoothing that out by decreasing the interruptions is always a positive. Rusty swords, broken armor, damaged armor and buttons can now all be noted. This is intended for pickpocketing hand members for easy clues when using the thieving cape, which notes all thieving loot. Scans will now pulse blue when far, orange when mid and red when close to the spot. I love this so much. Not much more to say on this honestly, but this along with the sound changes makes scan clues that much more fun to do. The text for paces in the scans interface is now bronze when further than 12 tiles, silver when between 12 and 7 tiles, and gold when within 6 tiles. Puzzle box and not skipping tickets have been added to the drop table of elite clues. This is a band-aid solution to the real issue as to why puzzle box skipping tickets are so expensive. It's the fact that modern methods of solving clue scrolls have gone so fast that you end up interfacing with puzzle boxes for 35% of your time, which is absolutely no fun. It interrupts the momentum and flow of solving clue scrolls as mentioned earlier. They're not even efficient to use. They cost 475 million an hour. The only reason people use them is because it stagnates their pace and it's a monotonous obstacle to have to constantly get over. My suggestion is that they revert the puzzle box step range back to how it used to be, where it rolls between 0 and 80 steps rather than the current 90 to 150 steps. Remove the dialogue from the nature, amulet, teleport, and the bound patch no longer needs to be diseased for players to be able to teleport to it. This is actually pretty big as you can permanently and infinitely teleport to a selected farm patch, and you can freely change which farm patch the amulet is bound to by simply using on the desired patch. Brawling gloves of the same skill can now be combined. Golden bamboo is now chopped approximately twice as fast. This puts golden bamboo as the best woodcutting XP per hour method by far, exceeding the now second best, which is crystallized mahogany, by 47%. I personally don't like this as I believe that a full AFK method should never be the best, and players should always be incentivized to engage with the game. The feeling pumped mutator in Shattered Worlds once again has a 25% chance to trigger, a 10-second duration, and the 18-second cooldown has been completely removed. While under the effect of feeling pumped, Shattered Worlds monsters will now award minimal combat XP, but augmented item XP remains the same. The price of all Slayer masks in the Shattered Worlds reward shop have been reduced. These have had some desperately needed discounts. There's a lot of numbers on the screen, so be sure to pause the video and browse any you might be curious about. The Fort Throne 3 and City of Lodestone teleports have been alphabetically ordered in the Magic Ability Book. Continuing the patch notes with Necromancy. Conjure Putrid Zombie. Passive poison proc interval reduced from 3 seconds to 1.8 seconds. I'm going to compare these changes to the original overall damage changes and the nerfs from last week. Again, I'm going to use Raziel as my example for calculating the damage per minute changes. As you can see, Necromancy still remains heavily nerfed, but it's still very powerful from my experience. It might not be the best for top PVMers at most places anymore, but it remains the best for the majority of players due to how simple and intuitive it is to use. Conjure Vengeful Ghost. Base duration increased from 30 seconds to 42 seconds, and passive heal increased from 125% to 140%. The duration increase is huge as it lines up all the conjurations to expire at the same time. However, I still think they should make conjurations a permanent feature, which is something I went through extensively in my previous patch notes. The heal is almost back to where it used to be when including debuffs such as vulnerability and haunt. Command Vengeful Ghost. Duration increased from 30 seconds to indefinite. This is definitely much better at this point, but my question would be, why not make it a passive, as players are going to use this no matter what? Life Transfer. Fix an issue where it wouldn't extend the duration of active spirits when used immediately after conjuring them. For whatever reason, the incantation used to not catch and extend the Vengeful Ghost, but that should no longer be the case. That Old Black Magic is now a special quest with 4 subquests. Porter effects now work for additional farming produce created by Juju farming potions and Greenfinger auras. Urns can now be filled using staves in the place of runes, similar to casting spells. There currently seems to be a bug with this where you can't use a staff to fill the urns unless you have at least one respective rune in your inventory. And that's it for this week's patch notes. I purposely didn't cover the combat beta changes as they're not in the main game yet. Also, I don't feel comfortable covering a topic unless I'm confident that I know everything about it and fully understand it. For that, I recommend checking out the PvMe Discord for information and theory crafting on how this will impact the future of combat. Anyways, that's it from me. Thank you for watching and take care.